Well, good evening to you. You know, this case and the treatment of Kalief Browder for so many people came to characterize how the criminal justice system warehouses youth as they are waiting for trial on Rikers Island. As you said, his case, Kalief Browder's case, led to so many reforms within the criminal justice system, including the elimination of solitary confinement for teenagers as young as Kalief Browder. As you said, he was accused of stealing a backpack. He went into Rikers Island and spent 2 years in solitary confinement. He was released after 3, and then a couple of years later he took his own life. Well, today his attorney, his family's attorney, Sanford Rubenstein, announced that there was a multi-million-dollar verdict, a settlement with the city of New York. Listen to this.
This is a fair and reasonable settlement. But what's really important here is not just the settlement, but the reforms that have been put in place as a result of this tragedy. Reforms including 16 and 17-year-olds now not going into solitary.
We have a statement from the law department which reads, Kalief Browder's story helped inspire numerous reforms to the justice system to prevent this tragedy from ever happening again, including an end to punitive segregation for young people on Rikers Island. We hope that this settlement and our continuing reforms help bring some measure of closure to the Browder family. It is going to be up to the court to decide how this settlement is distributed. We're live in Brooklyn this evening. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.
All right, Jay, thank you. We've just learned the identity of the victim who died in last night's bus crash on Route 80 in New Jersey. A 21-year-old student attending Syracuse University headed home to Queens. Police saying she was thrown from the bus after it collided with several other vehicles. Pix 11's Henry Rossoff is live at the hospital in Morristown with new details. Henry.
Good evening. We can tell you 3 people remain inside the hospital tonight. One still in critical condition, and emergency workers we're speaking with who were on the scene say could have been a lot worse if they didn't rely on their emergency training using this tagging system to make sure people got the help they needed as quickly as possible.
We're going to each patient. We're pulling the triage tag. We're looking at the monitor.
Jeffrey Paul says last night this Morris County Emergency Management ambulance bus was packed with up to 20 patients and almost just as many paramedics and staff from nearby hospitals.
These racks actually pull out on both sides, and then we have these stretchers that go into each one of these cubbies, so you can do 3 patients laying down if we wanted to.
The response was all part of a massive effort following last night's crash on I-80 involving a bus bound for the city and several cars. One person on the bus, Brianna Herrera, a 21-year-old Syracuse University student who was headed home to Ozone Park, Queens, was killed. Most others on the bus were transported with only minor injuries. State police investigators have yet to lay out an explanation of exactly how they believe the crash happened, and the investigation itself may also be hindered by the lack of National Transportation Safety Board resources due to a backlog of work from the government shutdown. Paul says his team was more focused on applying lessons learned from the fatal school bus crash in Paramus earlier last year by constantly updating the triage tags.
We wanted to make sure that vital signs and the information with regards to the assessment process was actually documented on the triage tag. So when the patients exited the bus and entered into the hospital system, we were immediately giving the hospital team data as it relates to the condition of the patient when they were in the field.
And these 3 people still here at Morristown Medical Center are expected to remain at the hospital at least through the weekend, but all are expected to survive. Live in Morristown, Henry Rossoff, Pix 11 News.